The mandibular Kennedy Class 1 arch has bilateral edentulous spaces posterior to the remaining dentition. This is quite commonly opposed by a complete denture in the maxilla. Partial examination findings pertinent to the design are listed. We see that there is 8 mm of space between the elevated floor of the mouth and the free gingival margin of the mandibular teeth. Number 22 is lingually inclined and has no undercut on the facial. It also has a large composite restoration. The patient is not aesthetic conscious and there are no buccal bony undercuts. There are high frenal attachments on the facial of 22 and 27, and the rest of the teeth are in good condition. Our first step is to obtain diagnostic casts of both arches. If teeth are to be retained in the maxillary arch, the casts should be accurately mounted. Surveying the mandibular cast is accomplished with findings as noted. In this case, if constructing a clasp-retained RPD, the contours of tooth number 22 reveal a lack of undercut on the facial. One should also consider the presence of the large restoration. Firstly, will failure of this restoration compromise the result? Is the restoration unaesthetic? Can the patient afford a fixed restoration? Based on these factors, one may choose to place a surveyed crown to address these issues prior to fabricating the removable prosthesis. This surveyed crown should be designed with an appropriate rest seat, guide plane and suitable undercut. High frenal attachments rule out the use of bar clasps, and since aesthetics is not a factor, a wrought wire clasp to .02 undercut is planned. Short guiding planes are used and a cingulum rest seat is prepared on the fixed restoration. The restoration is surveyed prior to cementation to certify the contours. Other mouth preparations involve a cingulum rest seat on number 27 with a short guide plane. The fulcrum line is now established. Selection of the major connector. Although a lingual bar is possible, it may not be the best selection. The linguoplate has several advantages, such as increased rigidity, indirect retention, and bracing against movement in the horizontal plane. The linguoplate also facilitates repair if a tooth is lost, and provides stability for corrected cast and realigning procedures. The acrylic base is indicated when future realigning is anticipated and in areas where space is adequate. Usually an interarch space with a minimum of 7 to 8 mm is required to use this base with acrylic teeth. A tissue stop is placed on the terminal end of the base retainer. The ladder is ideally spaced to facilitate tooth setting and support for the base material. The ladder terminates approximately 2/3 distance from the terminal tooth to the ascending border of the ramus. The acrylic base covers a minimum of 2/3 of the retromolar pad. Retention is provided with 2 wrought wire clasps engaging mesial undercut in the gingival 1/3 of the tooth. The facial surface may require adjustment, if possible, to ensure that the wrought wire may be adapted closely to the tooth along the entire facial surface.